Alright, and welcome to our first best of 5, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're having a wonderful time. As in the top left-hand corner of Curious Minds, it is quite the curious guy. Although maybe not, because usually his playstyle is pretty darn straightforward. From a Freak of Freaks. Or, sorry, from, I believe right now, if I am not wrong, they have rebranded to Qualm Freaks. It is Trap. And in the bottom right, of course, from Alpha X. That name might not look familiar, but we all know him. We all love him. He is the oh so handsome RAGNAROK. Alright. And we're on to Curious Minds, which is going to be a pretty fun map here for PvZ, just because Curious Minds is one of the more straight-up maps in the map pool. You'll usually see this at almost every series it's played on. One thing that I've noticed, especially recently, with a lot of the series that we end up seeing played, is that Curious Minds never really gets vetoed, because it has a very, very standard 3-base setup. You have 1/3 with some high ground that you can take, which we see, of course, RAGNAROK immediately going for, and then you also do have a 3rd base on the low ground, which is where you're usually going to be seeing the Protoss expand. Also in TVT, that's where you're going to see your expansions taken, just because it's a little bit closer, you have that easier float down. But as well for Curious Minds, it's a map that has a lot of build variety that it can offer, as Trap is being quite annoying. Unfortunately, the probe, he gets blocked, he accidentally picks up some minerals, and now he can't do anything more. He has to simply go away in defeat, but some nice little probe harassment already from Trap, of course, has forced that hatchery to be placed down at the 3rd base location. It's just a little bit annoying for RAGNAROK. It's not going to be anything that's game-ending, but it does mean that if Trap wants to get a little bit aggressive here, if he does want to go for something like light glaive to depth pressure, 3 to 5 gateways, while you're taking a 3rd behind it, he actually can do that a little bit easier. But it is going to be the Stargate opening, of course, as right now we don't have that new balance patch that, of course, has been proposed, which I think everyone is so excited for. That's not out yet just yet, so Stargate, still a great opening. Of course, this should be for an Oracle from Trap, as it is being placed down at home, so there's not really much chance that this is going to be for Void Rays, unless Trap does want to go into that air play very, very quickly, which, of course, I think is a possibility. It's always a possibility with Trap. Does just love his macro, and there's a good reason for that. Trap has some very good macro. He is that is what he was. He was one of the most he was the most well-rounded Protoss player in in the world for the longest time. Of course, Zest kind of, I think, has had recently had a bit more success. Of course, Zoun as well, I think, has had just done a little bit better. So it's been a little bit weird for Trap. He hasn't quite had the same success that he has in the past. Apologies for those frame rate stutters, but we do have the Void Ray first into the Oracle, so it will just be the Void to clear out the Overlords. It's going to give Trap the ability to have at least a little bit of map pressure, a little bit of map control, especially, so he's not going to be too worried about not knowing what's going on. He should be able to scout everything that RAGNAROK has. He should be able to prepare for all of the timings that RAGNAROK is going to try and hit, and that means that your 3rd base is going to be fairly safe. The Oracle will also come out. That will give you revelations. It'll allow you to harass a little bit if RAGNAROK's not ready with the Spore Crawlers. Luckily, well, for RAGNAROK, does already have those spores finishing up, and is currently only sitting at 37 workers. So Trap is actually ahead right now. RAGNAROK has not really been able to start really expanding and getting this macro on the way. As apologies here for a little bit of lag on my end. Did you have the Oracle going on there? Immediately just grab the 2 workers, so you should be seeing that Oracle pop on out. As wow, that is some bad Wi-Fi. Yeah. Probably pause there, and we'll go back to see if that clears up, because alright, hopefully that should be sorted on out. Sorry about that. Let us see if we can get on into the game. There we go. Alright, lag is sorted out. Gotta love that. But regardless, we do see a few pickoffs there for Trap. It is just the 2 workers before he gets on out. Nothing is lost. I do not affect the game. So, we're still going. We're still pretty happy about this, as Void Rays are more on the way, and that's a lot of Lings coming out from Ragnarok, who is walking across the Queen, so we are going to have a little bit of action already as the Oracle's going to get caught. That's a big pickoff here for Ragnarok. That Oracle course does give you the option to have Stasis Wards, but that is not going to be available right now, as this looks like a third base that's going to go down. There's only 2 Void Rays out. That's a lot of Queens, and I'm going to be honest, I don't think this looks very good for Ragnarok, or for Trap, as Ragnarok has just kind of hit his timing. There's just not a lot here for the Protoss player. The Queens are moving forward. GG is actually just going to be called. Trap doesn't even want to play it out, and that is game. As we are on to Blackburn. Sorry there for a little bit of a pause, but in the bottom left-hand corner, it is going to be from Quandom Freaks, Trap. And I believe that rebrand has gone through with their StarCraft 2 team as well. I'll explain. For those who don't know, I'll explain that after I introduce the man in the bottom right who has managed to already get himself a win in this series. Just, you know, just a good timing attack, and that's all you need sometimes. From Alpha X, it is Ragnarok. But yeah, what do I mean when I say Quandom Freaks over Afrika Freaks? Well, Afrika TV recently did, I believe, go through a deal where they merged for at least for their League of Legends team. I'm not sure if this is the same for their StarCraft 2 team, but I think it is. Or they're now just a little bit different because they're partnered. So the name has been changed in that case. But yeah, we're on to Blackburn, so let's talk about Blackburn. Of course, Trap is going to be going a little bit with the Probe Harass. That's just normal. He's going to be looking around, going to be saying, hey, what can I get done here? How annoying can I be? And the answer is usually pretty annoying. Trap is very, very good with his harassment. But Blackburn is another one, is one of those maps that is just always so interesting, because what either happens is the Protoss is going to go straight into Stargate. You're going to have a macro up. Ooh, I'm going to go late game. And then the Zerg just walks across the map and kills them with roaches or lings. Or, alternatively, that doesn't happen and you just have a 20-minute long macro game. You can never really tell which one it's going to be. I'm to be totally honest. That happens like 50-50% of the time. You get either one of those games on this map, and of course, sometimes you do eventually get the mix-up where you have the Glaive to Depths, where you have, you know, a Blink Stalker all in, or a +2 Blink Stalker Colossus attack. Sometimes maybe Charge Lots, but those are mixed in just a little bit less often. Most of the time, it is actually going to be Stargate opening, and we see Trap going for that once again. Again, though, you know, I'm a little bit worried for Trap, because he just went Stargate and he just saw how easily it was countered. Of course, that is on Curious Minds. That map does have a much shorter rush distance. It is a much harder map to hold the third base of. But even then, I don't know. I mean, the thing is, Ragnarok, it just looked solid. Like, it wasn't like Ragnarok just, you know, hit a timing, didn't really do anything. Okay, that's game. No, Ragnarok, like everything was on point for that timing. Everything was working out for him. And his macro was super clean behind it, so we'll see. I definitely do hope that Trap can at least, you know, make these games go a little bit longer, because we all like long games. We all like things that have a little bit more meat to them, that don't just end with a singular attack, because those are usually the least interesting ones. And that's why it was kind of a shock that Trap just GG'd out, because that was it. The game was over. There wasn't anything about it. Trap just lost in about, you know, 6 to 8 minutes. So we'll see if this game is any different, as you are going to have the Overlord start to be cleared out with this Void Ray Adepts moving across the map to try and get some harassment done. Never mind, they turn around. The two sisters say, actually, we don't want to do that. We're just going to hang out and defend in case any lings come across the map. Fortunately, the scouting link did head around the long way, so Ragnarok's still going to be able to get a bead on when this third base is going down. And that is a very, very quick +1, which, oh. That. Yeah, Ragnarok sees that. That is a massive for Ragnarok. So, and the reason why it's massive is Ragnarok should know when he scouts that. He sees that the cybernetics core is actually researching an upgrade. And he knows that it's not Warp Gate because Warp Gate just finished and the gateways are morphed. So, I mean, Ragnarok knows that that's +1. So either now Ragnarok has two choices. He can either immediately just go straight into macro and really try and accelerate his own economy, or alternatively, he can say, hey, I'm just going to try and go for an attack. As we do see, that is the evolution chamber going down immediately into a layer. It's just going to be the 4th base for now, and I think this is the right call. I don't think Ragnarok was preparing for any attack, and so, you know, trying to pull out one just out of nowhere would not work out, as that's 3 drones there for 2 adepts. Not the most worthwhile, but the Oracle's actually going to come on in. This is going to get a lot of value. 8 drones in total falling, and for the 2 adepts that you did have to sacrifice, you're absolutely happy with that, as Trap, who's getting into double Void Ray production right now. And there we go. Hydra's Den on the way. So Ragnarok is going to be preparing for at least, I mean, that's a very fast Hydra Den. He's going to be preparing for a timing attack regardless. He says, listen, no, I don't macro up. Hydra Den Inspire, I'm going to be getting straight into a super strong army that's just going to hard counter what Trap has. And I don't know if Trap actually scouted any of that out. Trap has no vision on this tech. He has no vision on the buildings. Trap's just kind of doing his build and saying, all right, come at me, you know. And that is really what this air toss opening is going to do. As the fleet beacon goes down, I mean, you have the robotics bay as well. You know, Trap's getting up all this tech. It's going to make his army very strong if he can finish it in time, but right now, that's really the question. These Hydras are on the way. Muscular Augments is on the way. That's a 4th base from Trap. And right now, Ragnarok is preparing with a gold-based economy to try and hit this timing attack. And that's so many. It's going to be so many Hydras that are coming across the map. I do not know if Trap is going to be ready for this. I mean, there's just been no information for him. That's a 3rd Stargate. There's no production right now for Trap. He's just working with these 4 Void Rays. Already the 8 Hydras are out. More are going to be on the way as they're immediately going to try and press back these Void Rays, but have shown themselves. But it is just units right now from Ragnarok. The Muscular Augments is going to finish. The +1 ranged weapons is going to finish as well. And right now you're sitting at 12 Hydras. I mean, the Disruptor is really going to be what might save the day here. As there's also a cannon, though. Ragnarok has to be careful. Does he have enough to actually push this? And I don't think he does. Ragnarok's saying no. His pulling back is going to try and reset. Hit at a different angle. But carriers are on the way now. Disruptors are out now. And Trap is starting to get out these tools that you really don't want the Protoss to have as Ragnarok. But he really can't do much about it. And Trap just prepares, gets the buildings down that he does, and now it's just carriers on the way, but Mutalisks are out. Trap does see that with the Oracle. So see how much harassment damage they can get done. The carriers are scouted. As there's no cannon in the mineral line, so this harassment should be pretty annoying. You do have to be careful, though. The carriers do deal decently well with these mutas. You see the damage just going through there. +1 carriers are no joke. As even into the 3rd base, you immediately have the shield battery overcharged. The one-shots, though, coming through from Ragnarok are very, very good. Already going to manage to find himself 9, maybe 10, going for 11 probes, and just gets on out now. But the real, again, the problem is right now you have carriers out. You have late-game Protoss, and you're working with Ling Hydra. It's not really the most robust comp. It's not the best one for dealing with what Trap has. And Ragnarok is not getting into Corruptors yet. Is getting into +1 melee weapons and actually losing so many Hydras. I mean, sure, he's getting probes for it, but that, or Mutalisks. But you can't say that's really worth it. The damage they got earlier was, of course, good, but 8 Mutalisks go down. But 17 Corruptors on the way. RAGNAROK, is he going to be able to find, I mean, again, you're just looking to stop the Protoss. You're looking to slow him down, because if they get to the late game army, suddenly it becomes a whole lot harder for the Zerg. It becomes a situation of now, for RAGNAROK, well, he's the one that's going to have to do, you know, all the micro. He's the one that's going to have to be active and attacking, and, you know, he's going to get Vipers. He has all the spellcasters. It's all in RAGNAROK's hands. Right now, he can at least try and start things out. Try. I'm not sure if that's going to work out. His trap just pushes him away there. More Corruptors on the way. I mean, the Corruptor count is already actually insane. Considering there's only 4 Void Rays sitting at 22 Corruptors. Absolutely crazy, as I have somehow managed to lag out once again, unfortunately. Yeah, affecting the players. We're gonna get that pause right on out.
Game resumed.
Does look as though it's better for now. And I'll talk about that later, as we actually have RAGNAROK going on in. The Corruptors are looking for one-taps, and I mean, I should have switched screens. I'm so sorry. Here we are in game. I was not ready for that. RAGNAROK immediately pressing the attack button and actually managing to find some decent damage. As the Corruptors once again trying to dive back in, even over cannons looking for kills on these carriers and managing to get them. Great damage there from RAGNAROK. Manages to, I mean, 2 carriers, 4 Void Rays go down. That is the damage that you want as the Zerg. That's the damage that you need as the Zerg. So once again, just dives on in, another snipe, and RAGNAROK playing this so well. It's gonna have to be pushed back. Archons are a little bit scary for this army. There's not a unit that you want to deal with right now. And RAGNAROK's just gonna pull back. He's gonna manage to get surround here on these zealots, and those units are just dead. Not much the trap can do. Is just gonna lose out on that. Doesn't even get any damage done. And right now, RAGNAROK, I mean, he's sitting at 5 bases. He's sitting at such a large economy, 83 workers with the gold base as well. His upgrades are coming through, and Vipers are now out, and this is where it starts to get very scary for Trap. He has gone back to a decent army. Right now, 6 Void Rays, the 3 carriers. You can work with it, but the issue is, I mean, abducts onto the Archons. Absolutely brutal. More abducts are going to come out immediately. A Void Ray sniped, and Trap just kind of loses out on that trade. Doesn't have High Templar out just yet. Is finally going to morph some in. Was previously using all of them just for Archons, and actually, did he just... No way. He's morphed them into Archons again. That's a cancel on the 4th. And RAGNAROK right now is actually just snowballing this game almost out of control. I'm not sure if Trap's going to be able to come back into this. This is such a difficult position for the Protoss. Stuck on 4 bases. Corruptors once again dive on in. Manage to snipe off a Void Ray. Don't even lose a Corruptor. As the Zealot counterattack is just going to be dealt with. Lings being brought over, and again, you get a cancel on what, the 6th base for RAGNAROK, but it's the 6th base, and Trap's actually just going to look for an attack. He's reached critical mass. He says, listen, I know that it's too late. I just got to go for something, but the Banelings rolling on in. Oh, the Disruptors. Most of them managed to survive. Now the Hydras are fighting. Disruptor shot's going to go on out, and it's all down to these Corruptors, but the Disruptor shots are good. The Void Rays are going to be fought straight up, but Trap, is he making this work? RAGNAROK 8. 8 Ultralisks. Figures out that he has enough Corruptors to fight this, and I think he's right. The Corruptors are going to dive on in, so just needs a beefy unit to deal with the ground army, and he should be able to do that with the Ultras. Come back on in when they are produced, and that might just be game. As, yeah, it looks like RAGNAROK is going to be able to get the 2-0. The Ultras are here. Oh my, RAGNAROK. Just perfect decision-making. Loses a hatchery, but should be able to just collapse onto this army, and once he has, I don't know if Trap is going to have anything left. I mean, great Disruptor shots, actually, but Stalkers are now going down, and these are chitinous plating on these Ultras. They just do so much damage. All the carriers are dead. They have the Anabolic Synthesis, so that's the extra speed off creep. And Trap is below 100 supply. Ragnarok, what a move. He's going to be retreating back to the cannons, and Ragnarok's just going to fight this. He says, listen, I don't care about your cannons. I think he should a little bit, though, as these ultras are going to start to go down. They're taking so much damage. And Ragnarok, did you just overstep? I mean, you could have tried to max back out, but there we go. Just snipe the 4th or the 5th base again. And that's what Ragnarok needed to do, is get that 5th base down. Make sure that, you know, Trap is still forced to go all in here. That's what this is. It is an all in, as still these corruptors being annoying. Going to try and find an angle to, you know, spit on the buildings of Trap, but so far not going to be able to find one. The cannons on that 4th base, pretty all-encompassing. And mind you, the corruptors, they don't have much use for anything but dealing with air units, so you just gotta be careful. As the blink forward here is not the best. The Lings are just gonna dive on down, and that Ultras doesn't even die as storms go down, but the storms honestly aren't even that good, as Ragnarok is gonna still be able to collapse on top of everything. The Hydras, though, are going down. The Archons are being morphed in, and Ragnarok is running out of stuff as Infestors are on the way, but the 4th base goes down. Trap needs to win the game here. Is he gonna be able to? As Spine Crawlers are being walked in, finally the Archons are getting low. Another Ultras pops out. The Immortal goes down. Hydras are here. More Zealots trying to come on in, but Ragnarok just has such a better economy, and the Hydras should be able to fight all of this away. The base is not going to go down, and that is the last of Trap's units. Ragnarok is going to take game number 2. Yeah, Ragnarok. Holy crap, what a good series he has already played. 2-0. I don't think anyone expected that. You know, Trap usually is able to play fairly standard and get away with it, but Ragnarok has been punishing him so well. And I think that's really been the difference. As oh no, Trap. Oh, doesn't get the cancel, or doesn't get the replacement on the hatchery. So Ragnarok just plays that where it's normally gonna go. That's a regular hatchery for Ragnarok. And you know he's smiling ear to ear about that. So I'm pretty sure Ragnarok actually did end up hiding it to make Trap think that he was going for some sort of cheese. It doesn't happen. That's just a regular hatch, and so now Trap doesn't really get the value off of having, you know, the drones. They have to walk all the way to the 3rd. Now that's not the case. As Ragnarok doing a very good job of denying this harassment does. Oh, even catch it there. Ragnarok, man. I am so impressed with him right now. I'm going to be completely honest. I am so impressed with him in this series already, and he still hasn't even closed it out, and that's considering that he will. Trap, of course, is very capable and able to get a reverse sweep, but right now it's not looking like he's going to really change up his builds any or do something different. So we should just be seeing more of the standard, as we aren't going to see the Warp Gate research started up. That does mean that it's going to be the Stargate at 2:23, and then that means that at 2:30 we should be seeing Warp Gate started. Ragnarok does see that timing, so should know, hey, listen, this is a Stargate opening. I know that timing. I know that you're going to be getting a Void Ray out, and then maybe going into an Oracle. So, you know, he kind of knows what's going on. Kind of has an idea of what's happening. There's no real questions there in Ragnarok's mind as to what his opponent is going to be going for and looking for in this game. And for Trap, it's just going to be more of the Stargate play. Now, it could, again, Trap could try and mix it up, but there's a lot of factors that play into that, of course, with upcoming tournaments and things like that. And so we'll see if he does decide to, as it's going to be the Oracle first, so no Void Ray. And this is actually indicative that Trap might not go straight into Void Rays and, you know, double Stargate, even more air units. And actually, with the Oracle first, we are going to see a second gateway. We might even see that Twilight Council or Robotics Facility placed down. And it might actually just be more tech coming out from Trap to then go into a ground-based army. But we will see the safety Void Ray at the very least. We'll see if more are added on to kind of get an idea of where Trap is headed with this build. It's back at home. Ragnarok, again, 3rd base, perfectly on time right now, sitting at 31 workers. Is going to try and catch this Adept. It's not actually doing that well. The Queen's pushing away the Oracle, and already Spore Crawlers are set up just in time. As, ooh, Trap, gotta be careful. Takes a lot of damage onto that Oracle. That's a great morph to save the drone. It's going to even be able to get away with it. It's +1 air weapon, so we should be seeing more Void Rays in production. Trap is just going to go into the double Stargate, so kind of everything the same here from Trap, is just hoping that he can hold on this time. That, you know, he's not going to end up, they can actually try and stop the pressure coming out from RAGNAROK. And again, in that game too, did actually manage to stop the timing attack that RAGNAROK was going for, who, you know, later than he would have liked, scouted out the +1 air weapons and knew that it was going to be double Stargate. So went for the Hydra attack, that didn't work, but then went into Corruptors and Vipers and just kind of got into the next phase of it, as it looks like this is going to be a Queen Walk. Yeah, I mean, RAGNAROK sees everything, and these Queens are walking across the map, and it doesn't look like this is a setup for an attack. I mean, maybe, right? Oh, is RAGNAROK? No. I was gonna say, is RAGNAROK trying to, like, force a response out of Trap? And that could be the case, as 2 shield batteries are forced out of the Protoss player. Because RAGNAROK had no units in production. That was just 3 Queens walking across the map. And if that was on purpose, that might have been the smartest move I've ever seen. Because RAGNAROK just forces out a few additional shield batteries. Maybe tries to scare Trap a little bit, gets him to think, hey, what if something's happening? But then to just pull back is going to be continuing to go into Queen production. More Lings on the way, and Trap, of course, getting up his tech behind this robotics facility. Twilight Council with the +1, also with +1 ground weapons. So might not even be really committing super hard to something like a Fleet Beacon. This actually could just be double Void Ray production into charge lots, and you have this Void Ray charge lot attack that you can go for as the Protoss player. And it tries to take advantage of the fact that there's just going to be a lot of Queens, and once those Zealots get on top of the Queens, there's not really a good enough Ling count to deal with it, and even then, the Lings actually get dealt with quite handedly, and I think that's what Trap is going for right now. More gateways going down, but the scout from RAGNAROK is going to see absolutely everything. That's gateways seen. That hurts. I mean, again, Trap was trying to hide this tech, even sees the Twilight Council. Oh. Or sorry, the robotics facility. As that is double robo facility. That's going to be coming up for Trap. It's just a complete pivot, a complete transition out. He's going to be going into potentially Colossus Disruptor or Colossus charge lots, Disruptors and charge lots. You know, this is Trap saying, listen, I showed one thing, I'm going to do another, and it just gets scouted. Ouch. that hurts. As right now it's just Roaches and Mutalisks. You know, RAGNAROK is going to get the Mutalisks out, is not worried about Corruptors. As the Queens here fighting straight up is actually not really an even fight. Transfuses have to be used, more have to be brought on over. The Void Ray is still very, very good at fighting, so you have to be careful of that. But more Roaches on the way. It's going to be Disruptors and charge lots. And I mean, for Trap, this is such a cool timing. It's such a cool idea. Is it going to work out? That's really the question. It feels like RAGNAROK kind of knows exactly what's going on. 5th base is going down for our Zerg player. Missile attacks is completing, and he's going Roaches, which is going to completely negate the strength of the charge lots. Is usually a pretty good answer to them. Of course, you know, then you do have Phoenix production now. I feel like Trap's just freestyling at this point, you know? He's got a beat, and he's kind of going along with it, and he's mixing up the rhyme scheme. First it's double Void Ray, then it's double Phoenix to deal with the Mutalisks, as immediately the Phoenix diving on in. The Mutalisks not able, the micro from Trap. Oh my god, the micro from Trap, so good. No. Okay, loses a Phoenix, but gets so much value there. Oh, Trap. This is just... I'm loving this. Double Void Ray into Disruptor, into Phoenix, back into Disruptor. Completely eliminates most of the Mutalisks. Only 4 left. Keeps 5 of his Phoenix alive so they can continue to harass and be annoying. And man, this play from Trap is something else. But you have to be worried because 190 supply is being approached here for RAGNAROK. As the Roaches are going to stop the immediate charge, the music has apparently just decided to completely go quiet. As, I mean, this is it. Trap's looking for his timing attack. The army supply is actually pretty even because you're currently sitting at 80 workers. If you are Ragnarok, good split there, but 2 of his Ravagers do go down. The Baneling connections, though. As I completely stuttered my way through that fight. Apparently, Disruptors and Ravagers is easy to mix up on the syllables, but yeah, strange attack there from Trap. He was looking for it, but it was just with his ground army. The air army wasn't there, and then Ragnarok just kind of cleans it up. I was not sure what was happening, I'll be honest. I was trying to shoutcast that while also considering how just weird it was, and now suddenly Trap is completely set behind. That, I mean, I don't know what that was for Trap, as suddenly now you just don't have a ground army, and your air army, it fights pretty well, but not that well, as that's a good Disruptor shot and hit, and I'm just gonna match them together. I'm gonna say, what is up with my brain right now? I am combining, I am mixing up words. You gotta love it. And Ragnarok not able to make that attack work, does lose a little bit too much for his liking. He's just gonna back on up. Broodlord's on the way. That, I actually don't know how I feel about that. There's not enough Corruptors. It's continued. Huh? Okay. Okay. I mean, I'm not sure about Void. I mean, okay. Ragnarok saw that Void Ray production was continuing. Ragnarok saw that, and he's still going for Broodlords, which I feel like is such a weird choice. As this, this Roach counterattack's not going to do much. There's no other pressure happening across the map, so Ragnarok's just going to lose Roaches. That's a 4th Stargate, a 5th Stargate on the way. It's a fleet beacon. And suddenly Trap's back in this game when he just completely threw it before. Because Ragnarok made an attack that didn't work as well. What is going on? This game. Well, that's going to be a very dead hatchery. Ragnarok is moving forward a Spore Crawler line, and well, he kind of needs to do something because it's pretty soon going to be 5 base to 5 base, and that's never really going to work out for the Zerg. As, the Corruptors dive on top of the Void Rays. A great Parasitic Bomb gets a lot of damage down onto them. And if you actually snipe away all these Void Rays, suddenly the Broodlords are completely left to their own devices. And there we go, the recall is being used. The Corruptors just going through, only managed to get snipe on a single one of the Void Rays, but that's a base going down. Ragnarok making the move that he needs to, but Warpin's coming in behind this. The Greater Spire is under attack. Trap, he knows that there's not a lot of ground units available for Ragnarok, and the Broodlords have to be pulled back. As more Corruptors in production, Trap, this is such a good move by him. He's immediately going to be able to snipe there. The 4th base, the 5th was already killed. Now Charge Lots, I mean, they already killed this Greater Spire. Now going to look for the main as well. Roach is coming on in to deal with that. As this game is just, what is going on? 50 workers to 50 workers. Flux Veins is on the way. But Trap he just has a large army right now. Trap, I mean, it's decently Ragnarok, is working with such a large army. It's 21 Corruptors, 6 Broodlords. There's not really anything that Trap has now. Again, he lost so much with that counterattack. Again, it was a cool move, but it's only a good move if you're also at the same time able to collapse onto the Broodlords and find damage there. And now once again, you're pushing across this map with this tiny ground army. And Ragnarok looks like he just wants to end the game, because that's going to be a Nexus going down. He's also attacking the 4th base at the same time. A blink forward, he's going to be able to get a lot of the Broodlords. And with the Broodlords going down with no Greater Spire to replenish them, is that enough? I mean, bases are going to start to go down again from Trap. But he's also getting bases across the map. He's killing off hatcheries. The Void Rays are still here. The Blink Stalkers are still doing well. He has Archons to bolster it. It's +2 ground units. There's disruptors as well. They're going to try and look for the shots. The Void Ray is now fighting the Corruptor straight up. There's so many Corruptors. The Disruptor shot goes out. Is not going to hit. And it looks like all of the Void Rays are going to go down. But Trap, I mean, he found damage, but is it enough? He still has a base mining. But Ragnarok also still has a base mining. This game. What is going on? As it's long distance mining from the natural 3rd and 4th. It is a singular base here in the bottom left-hand corner for Ragnarok. Uh-oh, is Ragnarok trying to take this fight? Corrosive Biles are good, but I mean, the damage that comes out from these Archons is just too much, as a bunch of these Spore Claws are gonna be cleaned up. But look at this. I mean, it's the Caustic Spray. There's not much that Ragnarok that can be done against Ragnarok to stop this Trap. He warps in a few Stalkers, but he's just going to start losing gateways now as more units are in production for Ragnarok. He already has a larger army, and he's going to just look to try and expand that. As I mean, Stalkers are just kind of fighting this Trap. He knows that he has to be completely all in now. You know, maybe it was a question earlier if he was able to hold some of the pressure across the map, but now he just has to go all in. It's +2 for his units, but Ragnarok also has +2. Never mind, +3 for Trap. Managed to finish. That is absolutely massive, as these Archons going to try and get so much value. Disruptor shot is going to go out. Actually just hits an Archon. That's a free kill there for Ragnarok as he pulls back the Ravagers. 2 of them go down. Oh, Trap. Is his army big enough? Trap, he's just going to blink on top. Trap! Oh, what a play here from Trap. He's just going for it, and GG! What? No way. No way. Trap. Oh my god, that game. What a comeback it was. What a game it was. It's not no 3 we all thought it was going to be. Top right-hand corner. It is Trap. And in the bottom left, from Alpha X, still looking to close it out, but hey, it's not gonna be that easy. It's Ragnarok. And it was the Archons. It's the Archons that made the difference there. I mean, they just got so much value against the Zerglings, against the Ravagers. Trap able to close it out, and it felt like, I mean, Ragnarok was able to keep up for that game, and that's what I'm saying. Ragnarok is playing so well, even when it's that scrappy. That's usually where the more experienced, you know, the more skilled players will shine, and Ragnarok kept up for so long. He was trading things across the map. He just lost a little bit too much. Just a little bit too much. Lost too many bases, was not able to replenish. And I mean, that's got to be a tilting game for Ragnarok, so we'll see if he's able to get back on into it. In the mindset especially, and get situated for this game number 4, which is on Hardwire. And Hardwire, again, we've kind of gone through all of these standard maps in the map pool. So usually the maps that you won't see are going to be your Glittering Ashes, your Pride of Altaris. Those are the larger maps. Those are the ones that are a bit different. And so they're a bit weirder to play out, but so far we've gone through all of the completely standard ones, which is, of course, nice to see. It kind of gives you a good bead on what these players want to do. And obviously for Trap, that is the Stargate play. Did mix it up quite a bit in that last game, and I think that was really what allowed him to win it. There was never a moment where Ragnarok was completely sure, okay, this is your attack, this is a timing attack I can do to counter it. There was never that moment in that last game. Usually there was, you know, in games 1 and 2, there was that moment. Not this time though, and so it was a lot easier for Trap to macro up, for Ragnarok to kind of delay, because he wasn't quite sure, oh, do I have the right units? He got his Brood Lords, and even then it was like, oh, are these the right ones? Is this gonna work out? And so didn't end up really being able to get, I think, the damage that Ragnarok wasn't able to get the damage that he wants soon enough. And then, I mean, even with the throw from Trap where he moves all of it, how does Trap win a game where he walks his ground army across the map, without his air units and wins the game still. It's just like, I'm baffled. I am baffled by that. Shocked, one might say. But we're at game number 4, and we'll see if it is going to be, in fact, the double Stargate out of Trap. I would not be surprised if it is. It's the Oracle second, though, so we'll just have, again, that scouting information. And we'll have that harassment option, and Trap has actually been doing a great job of, even though there are support crawlers and queens, he still manages to get 3 or 4 drones with his oracles, which is honestly quite impressive. Still managing to get a little bit of harassment down that unit, and then also getting the scouting value, getting the stasis wards. It's all looked very, very nice from Trap. Alright, these overlords are going to cleaned up, and that's a second overlord kill, which is just a little bit annoying. Not going to knock RAGNAROK into a supply block, but does have to build 2 more overlords just to be safe. As the Oracle there goes on in, again, manages to get 3 drone kills, and that's about it. Not too much more, not too much less. And that's about the value that Trap wants with it. Isn't going to do anything else. Just going to get on out, and then, oh, this Oracle's going to be used for scouting, and that's about it. And this game is progressing at a much different pace. So let's talk about Hardwire. As apologies there, we're just taking a sip of water. But it is the double Stargate, so you have the +1, 2 Void Rays. Same tech as last game, though, so Trap really deciding, hey, this looks like this feels the best to play with, and I absolutely do agree. It looked the best from Trap in that last game. And so that does put a lot of pressure here on RAGNAROK, though, to kind of figure out, hey, listen, what is my counter? Is it going to be the Broodlord Rush? I don't think so, unless he wants to commit to it a little bit more than he did last game. Well, that's your answer. That's a Nidus Worm. Okay, RAGNAROK. Things are about to get very, very spicy here as more queens are in production. Should have, I believe, 11 queens by the time that this Nidus finishes. Where are the overlords, though? Is it just going to be queens trying to hit the natural? Is it going to be, lings and queens at the 3rd or in the main? Right now, it's looking like it's going to be towards the natural. And RAGNAROK continuing again. He's just been making really good proactive moves, and there we go. Oh, Trap does see it. That's massive. Trap going to be able to delay the first Nidus Worm. Very, very good scouting there from Trap. And for RAGNAROK, that's really not what you want. Another one going to go down, and this time he's going to try and go for the 3rd, but the 3rd base really isn't what you want. You want to try and hit the natural here as, oh, these lings. There's an Adept in the wall, but they're going to try and start to knock down this wall as the Nidus Worm will go up. The Void Rays are being brought over to deal with this ling pressure. But, this should be a dead gateway at the very least. A lot of lings are going to go down for it, though. RAGNAROK just has to back up, but here are all the queens. 12 queens in total. Another Nidus in the main, so you're going to have units being brought over to deal with that. Shield batteries are going up, but the queens are here. Transfuses are going down. Shield battery energy is being used up, but the overcharge not used just yet. There we go. Overcharge being popped. The queens have to move on back. Only a singular one going down. There's not a lot of energy left here for RAGNAROK on his queens. The lings aren't here to help deal with the zealots. Finally, they're going to be brought on over. More transfuses going in, but these shield batteries getting so much value. Finally, the Void Rays are going to start to lose health, but it's 10 queens versus 6 Void Rays. And RAGNAROK, I don't think this is working out. Is, going to be able to snipe that Void Ray. Another Void Ray going to go down. Actually, Trap not microing this the best. Banelings are on the way. Finally pulls back one of his Void Rays, but losing 2 is actually massive here. As Banelings are on the way, more queens, more lings, and there's no ground army for Trap, and that's the big difference. You don't have a ground army to deal with these units. They're just going to roll on through. The Disruptor is here, but these Banelings are going to get so much value. That Disruptor shot is massive. So many lings go down, but the Disruptor gets surrounded. The queens continuing to fight. Void Rays are going down. The lanes continue to stream on through, and I think that RAGNAROK might just have enough. The Void Rays are still in the sky, though. Finally, another one is going to go down. Another shield battery overcharge is up. And it's actually going to be so clutch as the Void Rays are continuing to be healed. Zealots are now on the queens. Trap gonna be able to hold that shield battery overcharge. Absolutely saving the day. As, I mean, I think the all-in is over for Ragnarok. I don't think he can continue it. I think this is just a great fight from Trap. And again, Ling's not knocking down that shield battery is so massive. As, I mean, more Banelings are going to roll in, and can these Banelings get value? The cannon's going to fall, looking for the probe line, only gets 4. And that is not really enough value. The queens are, the slow queens are split. There's more void ways than queens. Void rays, sorry. As Trap looking to complete the reverse sweep, looking to make it 2-2. And mind you, I mean, both the Queen Walk and Shield Battery Overcharge are getting nerfed in the upcoming patch, potentially. But still, that was so well played from Trap. And it really was that second Shield Battery Overcharge that kept him in this game. And Ragnarok right now, I mean, he's going to try and macro back up into this game. He's just going to be straight onto the workers. He doesn't want to give it up just yet. But carriers are in production. And the issue is, after doing this Queen Walk, you don't really have anything to deal with carriers. I mean, Hydras are on the way, but the Hydras are not the best response. Again, I mean, Hydras, they do well versus carriers, but you need a lot of Hydralisks, and it's going to be hard for Ragnarok to get to that count. He's currently only at 68 workers to 63. He's trying to poke around with these Lings, but Trap just has his defenses up and ready to go. And now we're back just into a macro game as Ragnarok, I mean, everything is against him right now. Trap is in such a good position, has such a lead to play with. The only saving grace for Ragnarok is that Trap needs time to build up, and that is time that Ragnarok can use to take a 5th. That's time that Ragnarok can use to, you know, get up to 78 workers, to build up a strong Hydra count, to get his upgrades. But that's, I mean, that is about it, though. He just has until Trap is ready to attack. And then that's it. That's his timer. As, ooh, nice snipe there. Gets a Void Ray. The Hydras are seen. Trap knows his opponent is just on 4 bases, and for Ragnarok, when do you take this 5th? It should be pretty soon here. There's a drone moving out, and yep, 5th base is gonna go down. Again, though, what is going to be the play here for Ragnarok? Because you need to try and find damage. You need to try and get up an army composition that is going to be able to fight straight up, but or not fight straight up, but is going to be able to slowly pick away at units, use these Vipers to their maximum capacity, and that's what the plan is going to be. The Vipers are out. The Vipers can get up ducks. You can pick off singular disruptors, singular carriers, and when you just have, you know, only single targets of those units, that's when the Hydras do a lot of damage. So Ragnarok here is getting ready. He's getting the units that he needs to try and deal with this. The 5th base is on the way. He's going to be preparing for the attack that will eventually come out from Trap, which appears to be on the way, as it is a strange collection of units. 2 Disruptors, a Colossus, 4 Carriers, 7 Void Rays, and 3 Archons. But you got the 19 Hydralisks. Still, though, where are the Vipers? They're not out quite yet. An Ultralisk is on the way, but you need the Vipers to help deal with this army as Trap is approaching maxed out. The army supplies are almost even. There's no Banelings to deal with any of this. It is just Lings and Hydras. As for Ragnarok, this is the hold that needs to happen. Where are the Harpoons? Queens are also here, though. As, ooh, Disruptor shot! Oh my god. Is absolutely beautiful. Abducts go down, but I don't think it matters. Trap just has too much. Oh my, that was a thing of beauty. GG. We're going to game number 5. In the top right-hand corner, he's brought it back to 2-2. Quamdom freaks. It is Trap. And bottom left, from Alpha X, going for the extractor trick, being just a little bit fancy. It is RAGNAROK. I see in chat there the caster command not quite updated. Hello, I am TitanOnFire. You will be able to find. Never mind. I'm not going to talk about me. Please, please, please tell me. Oh my. Oh yes. Oh yes. This just makes me happy. RAGNAROK proxy hatchery, game number 5. Is he actually going to go for it? Well, there's a second gateway on the way. Trap is going to take this fairly seriously. Mind you, there is no pool. The pool is actually just now going down. Oh, RAGNAROK's going for it. RAGNAROK is going for it. This is so cool. Yeah, there's not really going to be any waiting for it. We're going to see this. I mean, maybe RAGNAROK tried to take a base. Maybe he tried to take a natural. But this is a proxy hatchery. This is... I absolutely love this from RAGNAROK. But Trap is prepared. That's already a Zealot on the way. And I don't know if this is actually going to end up going up. And also, you had a pylon block on the natural there from Trap. That is actually brutal. As it looks like RAGNAROK is just going to try and delay his opponent. I decided, listen, Trap's taking this too seriously. I don't think he can really get any more damage done with it. Can't go for the Spinecrawler rush. Can't really afford to commit that hard to the all-in. But does let it finish, so he will have the creep spread to delay this even longer. I mean, Trap's just not going to get up a natural base. That's not going to happen for a really long time. This base will eventually go down and Overlord is just being built, but the creep spread is going to be very annoying. There's not going to be buildings that are able to be built on this low ground. And behind it, you know, RAGNAROK is getting up his own natural, or his own second base. We'll need to build, of course, enough units to deal with the Zealots that are going to make their way across the map, but again, this Nexus, it's not going to go up. And actually, 2 Lings were built, and they're actually just going to be annoying in the main base. You're going to force a probe pull. And you see here, Trap waiting for this creep to recede. It does just take forever. There's an Adept. 2 Adepts actually here. As was this worthwhile? That's a good question. Maybe not. As the base is actually under siege, and the issue is now RAGNAROK doesn't really have the units to defend that base. And this is where it starts to get a little bit messy here. Trap will just pull away, though. Trap actually respecting RAGNAROK's units and the speedlings that'll eventually come out, but I don't know if that was really worth it. Third hatchery is on the way to Stargate for Trap, and just so far, some really, really simple play. Nothing too crazy. I'm still trying to figure out right now how exactly this ends up playing out, because you have a lot of Lings here for RAGNAROK. They're not really useful. It's a full wall. For Trap, has the shield battery as well. Of course, RAGNAROK at this point, if he does just drone up, if he does just get up Spore Crawlers, can defend the Oracles, can start to get a pretty decent worker lead, but again, it's just, I'm not sure if it's going to work out. You have Trap once again going to be moving out here with just a few small units. He has Zealots and Adepts, and sure, they're slow Zealots, but they still do pretty good against Zerglings. You don't need them to be super quick to really be effective for this attack and for this timing, this pressure that Trap is trying to put on. He has the 4 Adepts. Has to be careful not to let them get surrounded. A nice pullback. And now that the Oracle is here as well, I mean, RAGNAROK, do you have enough? Your army supply is actually not quite here, as the Queens are just going to get focused down. Zealots are on top of Queens. Finally, the Adepts are going to get surrounded. The Queen does manage to pull away, actually, but now they're into the mineral line. A few Zerglings trying to delay and distract these Adepts for as long as possible as the Zealots do get cleaned up. The Oracle's not actually being able to commit on in as so far. 5 drones have gone down. It looks like that's going to be about it. 6 drones, maybe adding on a 7th. And it looks like there will be an 8th. And it's absolutely worthwhile here for Trap to just get, I mean, even as few worker kills as you can. Because right now, you have a lead. 2 Oracles are out. That's Glaive Adepts that are going to be on the way. Trap, he's going to try and 2-base all in this. Is that actually a mistake, though? I feel like right now, okay, I was going to say, it's not going to be a 2-base all in. It does take a 3rd, not additional gateways, so it's just going to be the Glaive Adepts for harassment. It's going to be them for safety against the Lings for the harassment options. It's not additional gateways. It is instead that 3rd Nexus, which is the correct choice. I was really scared that Trap was going to go for an all-in when he was this far, I mean, in such a good position. But that is not the case. Of course, the worry still is, hey, you're going Glaive Adepts. If you don't get damage done with them, do you just end up wasting your resources? Because that is absolutely a possibility. Oh, that's a great scout. Trap does manage to see the Adepts coming across the map, does not know that they're Glaive, but sees even more coming across the map. And honestly, this is, yeah, I mean, Trap should be prepared. Roaches are on the way, though not enough just yet. Lings are the only option against Glaive Adepts. Lings are not the best. As you see, Trap actually completes, though. I don't know if this is the right choice. Completes the Shade. Look how fast these Adepts absolutely chew through the Lings, but the Roaches are already out. As the 3rd base, the drones have been pulled away. All of the Adepts go down. This is what I was saying, Trap. You can throw this, absolutely. When you're already in such a good spot, this can just be a throw. And I think it's already starting to look like one as the Adepts have gone down. RAGNAROK has responded extremely well. As the Adepts are going to get caught out, they're all going to go down. And RAGNAROK, he's going to look for an attack. He's going to look for the kill on these sentries. Never mind, just ignores them. Says, listen, I actually don't want to dive on in there. The Oracles are just a bit too dangerous. And RAGNAROK holds. Trap, I mean, Trap has 59 workers. That's 3 base versus 3 base. That 4th hatchery is going down so late for RAGNAROK. Glial Reconstitution on the way. +1 Blink Stalkers also available. Or will be available in about a minute or so. Spire is the choice for RAGNAROK. Going to be looking to go into the Mutalisks. Of course, we just don't do the best against Blink Stalkers, but we have other units to distract and harass. It can be very efficient as, I mean, oh my god, the Oracle control. So good. Snipes down 5 drones, gets on out with both Oracles, does scout out the Spire, but 9 Mutalisks are already on the way. And Trap, I mean, should just be playing safe here. I don't really think there's a world in which Trap is able to move out and attack just yet, especially with the Mutalisks on the map. He's gonna have to just play it safe, play it careful. You know, you lost a lot with that Adept pressure. You had a position where you could suddenly get a very strong lead. That's no longer the case. It's +1 ranged weapons on the way. Baneling Nest will be finishing up fairly shortly. It's a robotic support bay as well. So Phoenix production 1 at a time though. And the Robo Bay, I mean, it just means that there's not a lot of Stalkers as the Stalkers blink forward. Only a single Mutalisk is going to go down. 4 probes already falling. As RAGNAROK is continuing to macro up behind this. More drones, Infestation Pit, Evolution Chamber to work on his armor upgrades at the same time. And it is Roach Ravager Ling that is being produced for RAGNAROK, which honestly does pretty well against Blink Stalkers. The Lings are really what counters it very, very well. Is there now a decent Phoenix count? Only the 3 though, but they are able to immediately focus down one of the Mutalisks. And you see just how much damage these Phoenix do. As Colossus is the choice here for Trap. Phoenix, Colossus, Blink Stalker, it's going to be +2, and I think that's going to be the timing attack the Trap is going to look for. He's, I mean, going to try and take a 4th base, but Probe does get killed. Snipes another Mutalisk. Actually, snipes another even. Getting so much value here as the Oracles are going to dive on in once again. Only snipe 3 workers. Then have to get on out, but they're going to be intercepted. The Oracles are going to go down. That means no more scouting here for Trap, as RAGNAROK, taking a 5th hatchery, has really just been able to suddenly accelerate this lead to 83 workers. Sure, the army count is even, but mind you, it's going to be RAGNAROK who is the one who's maxing out first. It's going to be RAGNAROK who has the say in when he wants to push across the map and try and find damage. And there's not really a lot that, again, that Trav can do. You're on the back foot in this game constantly because of the Adept. It just didn't work. It just didn't work out. And so now RAGNAROK, 177 supply, has a lot of money right now in the bank. What is he saving up for? It could be that Mulus transition. No, it's just going to be the max out. 32 Lings, Roaches, Banelings, and the Viper's going to be added on as RAGNAROK decides, hey, I'm going to go for this attack. And it's 163 supply for Trap. He does have a large army, though. Right now, Trap is working with, it's going to be 2 Colossus by the time this, this attack comes. He's going to be working with Disruptors and a lot of Blink Stalkers, but this is not an army that fights straight up. This is an army that kites away, that looks for, connections with the abilities. And that's where you get a lot of your value, as Trap is also moving out at the same time. Actually has a larger army supply. He's down 20 workers. Excuse me, has some amazing force fields there. Close off most of the Banelings. Don't get a ton of kills, but manage to stop them as, the Baneling run by is just going to blow up this base. As all the workers go down now, going to try and look for into the 3rd, but there's enough there as the attack's going at the front. Oh, there we go. Force field's not the best. The Blink Stalkers blink forward, but a lot of Baneling connections go down. But look at the army supply drop as the Ravagers fall. And Trap actually finds some incredible damage there. He's going to be able to get rid of a base. Loses 21 workers behind it. And that's an Ultralisk. More Banelings on the Remax here. For RAGNAROK is still working with a 4-base economy. Trap, though, is working with such an efficient army. +2 on these Blink Stalkers, on this Colossus. More Mulus are actually out onto the map. Or sorry, these are the same Mulus, but the Corruptors trying to chase down the Phoenix. It's not much avail. 5th and 6th bases being reestablished now for RAGNAROK, who is out of money now, but it still is maxed out. Still has a lot to work with. It's a lot of Banelings, though. It's an army that explodes, it goes in, and it's explosive, and that's about it. It's a great snipe onto the Colossus. The other one is going to go down. The Banelings are just rolling forward, the Blink back, but the Banelings still going to collapse on forward. RAGNAROK just settles for a few Stalker kills, getting rid of the shield battery. Is not able to find the mineral line, but now more Ultras, more Lings on the way. Trap fighting this. Oh, great blink backs. Oh, Trap manages to take that fight. Is now going to look again to try and cancel this base, but honestly, it's a base that it feels like right now RAGNAROK should be okay with losing, as the Harpoons right into the middle of the Ultras gets a lot of high value targets. But again, this base can go down. It feels like you're trying to hold a base where you have a 5th already being established elsewhere. I'm not sure if it's entirely worth it. It's a great pickup there from Trap. Saves the Immortal. He's going to be able to get on out, and RAGNAROK's still trying to fight this. But again, I feel like he lost just a little bit too much there, trying to hold a 5th that he had already reestablished, as the Corruptors are going to fall now. And it's just ground army versus ground army. As this Ling counterattack is just completely and utterly denied. And Trap, right now in such a good position. RAGNAROK, what are you going to do? Well, he needs a 6th. He needs another base. He needs something. It's 3 Ultralisk, but I don't know if Ultralisk are really going to be the call. There's 5. There's 5 Immortals! And you're going Ultras! This army's just gonna melt! Look how quickly this Ultras dies. It is not even funny. That's 2 volleys and it's already almost dead. Trap, I think you just got hard countered. He did not build the right army composition. He needs something here. Oh, the lag? It's not gonna happen for long. As Blinding Cloud goes down, but it's not enough. The Ultras are actually trapped behind the Ravagers. As Great Corrosive Vials do go down, but these units are just not able to get into the fight. And I mean, just the Ultras just die. There's not really much to it. This army is just hard countered. Trap is gonna look to try and win the reverse sweep. It took all 5 games, but he's gonna be able to do it. Ragnarok, it was a valiant effort, but it's not enough. As Trap absolutely crushes through. GG.